Hey guys, Melo back again with another video. Today I'll be talking about who I think is the best YouTube boxer. Huge shout out to Viddal Riley, KSI's coach, KSI's head coach. Viddal Riley, great boxer, and he's inspired me to make this video. And obviously, before I do get into the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and leave your opinions down in the comment section below. So like I mentioned before, Viddal Riley, great guy. He has been involved in the YouTube boxing scene since the very beginning, but I feel like he shouldn't be on the list on like some of the best YouTube boxers, because in my opinion, he's on a completely different level from KSI or Jake Paul. So I narrowed it down to 5 YouTube boxers. The first one obviously being KSI. KSI is probably one of the better YouTube boxers. I know his fighting style is a little scrappy, but I feel like that was mainly because against Logan, he was a shorter guy. And the one thing what Logan did not like is, being scrappy and being very unorthodox. That kind of played to KSI's advantage, beating Logan the second time and obviously drawing with him the first time. So KSI is very scrappy, but I feel like when he actually fights Jake Paul, somebody who's around his height, maybe a bit short, maybe a bit taller, I feel like he'll be fighting more of a traditional boxing style than, a scrappy one from what we've seen in KSI v Logan 2. For YouTube boxing standards, he's actually quite good. The defense is very solid, being taught by the Mayweathers. His attack is pretty good and his stamina is alright. But I feel like KSI doesn't have the natural urge to be good at boxing. He has to train, to get to a certain level where it may be, acceptable for him to box. But at a professional level, I feel like KSI isn't the best boxer. YouTube boxing standards, there's not many YouTubers that can actually box, and after KSI boxes all of them, what he's going to do with his professional boxing career, you get me? Like, he won't have the Jake Paul or the Logan Paul or the Anesongib to fight. He'll be fighting people that are way higher than him in this, skill level. But to JJ's credit, he is, a very hard worker. Whenever somebody says something against him, he almost always proves them wrong. So KSI can easily prove me wrong by, training hard and, improving his technique and skill. But at this current moment in time, he hasn't shown that he has, boxing technique / skill. So I feel like KSI is definitely up there as, the best or one of the best YouTube boxers. But as an actual boxer and going forward in the sport, I know I'm rating YouTube boxers, I'm not necessarily rating boxers, because KSI would even be on the list. But as a YouTube boxer, he's actually alright. As a boxer, doesn't have the boxing bug that other YouTubers do have. Next is Anesongib. The only thing that people think of Anesongib is he's trash, not good at boxing at all, just because his appalling performance at Jake versus Gib in January in Miami. So people thought that Gib was one of the best boxers, YouTube boxers at least, and then when he lost and got absolutely battered by Jake, he bashed on him, heavily bashed on Gib. But I feel like Gib, his stamina, like Viddal Riley, one of the head coaches of KSI, JMX, and also Gib, he has said himself that Gib can last 12 rounds plus. His stamina is apparently extremely good. In Gib's first run, comparing it to KSI's last run in both of their training camps, Gib has beaten KSI in stamina, and in that factor, and in Gib's aggression, and obviously his style and his stance is very unorthodox. It's not traditional, but you could easily say the same thing about KSI. His style, boxing, aggression, everything's not traditional. He freaking swings like a windmill. But you've seen KSI, you've seen him beat Logan Paul, who apparently had the better skill level, and KSI won. So why can't Anesongib have the same respect for that? So I feel like Gib definitely can improve on his stance, especially his footwork. But overall, Gib's not a bad boxer. He has better stamina than KSI. His aggression is arguably better than JJ. And overall, I don't feel like Gib is better than KSI. I feel like KSI can be better than Gib. But currently, in my opinion at least, I feel like Gib is the better boxer than JJ. Next up is Olajide, Oladeji, Olatunji. I don't even know his name. I'm sorry, Deji. Deji is the next on the list. I feel like Deji is like KSI, but is lazy AF. But we've seen Deji, especially with his channel recently, obviously hitting 10 million subscribers, 10.1 million subscribers right now. I feel like Deji, if Deji can change in the smallest ways throughout, the past 2 years, I feel like he could definitely change his attitude towards boxing. Back then, Deji didn't really care. He didn't really understand the opportunity he had. But now I feel like after Deji, truly understands things, and after he fails at something, he bounces back. Same thing with the rapping, and I feel like he can do this with the boxing as well. JJ said himself, I've repeated this many times to my friends, my fans, all of that. Deji is arguably a better natural boxer. We needed the natural ability from KSI, but we don't have it. Deji could be the way that we see the other Tunjis having natural ability. JJ doesn't have natural ability. Deji does. And I feel like if Deji ever were to train properly for a fight, his opponent should be scared of Deji. His opponent would be scared of Deji. If I talk about Deji, I'll be repeating myself. So onto the next YouTube boxer who's arguably very underrated is FaZe Sensei. I've talked about him in my last video. He is extremely underrated as a boxer. Like Logan, he's more MMA, you know, mixed martial arts type of thing. But as an actual boxer, he's actually alright. He fought against, I forgot his name, Coach Richard, I think, against him in the KSI v Logan 1 undercard. He was planned to be in the second KSI v Logan undercard. But if Eddie Hearn can put in the trust into a person like FaZe Sensei, to have a professional bout, I feel like if FaZe Sensei ever was to be on an undercard on, like, I don't know, KSI v Jake or something, he would absolutely thrash his opponent. Like, his natural ability, he's been training since he was a kid. He's like Viddal Riley, but more mixed martial arts. So I feel like FaZe Sensei is definitely underrated, and I feel like if he was to actually fight in the future, he would absolutely destroy and clap his opponent. And the final person on the list that I believe is possibly the best YouTube boxer is 100%, surprisingly, not that surprising, but it's pretty surprising, is Jake Paul. Jake Paul, why do I have to big up Jake Paul? Like, at the beginning of 2018, I hated the Pauls. I hated Logan, I hated Jake. After the Japan Forest incident, I felt like I hated the Pauls. I actually enjoyed Logan's content, didn't really like Jake, but I thought he was alright. But then after 2018, the Japan incident, I didn't like any of them. That's why I backed KSI fully through the first fight. But after seeing Logan change and, you know, possibly Jake changing, I feel like Jake does deserve the #1 spot, or at least top 2. He's definitely top 2. He has the technique, natural ability, he has the boxing bug. He genuinely likes boxing. He doesn't just like boxing to beat the next YouTuber. This is shown in him actually boxing Nate Robinson, a pretty good athlete, NBA athlete. I think he won the dunk contest or something 3 times or something, I'm not sure. Don't really watch NBA, don't really watch the basketball sports scene, but if he is willing to risk everything on the line to actually fight KSI, to fight an athlete such as Nate Robinson, I feel like Jake Paul is definitely up there. He doesn't just care about YouTube boxing for the YouTube aspect. He actually likes boxing as a sport and as like a hobby, as something that he actually passionately believes in. Like, he, in my opinion, is more of a boxer than a YouTube boxer. And Jake Paul, his record's pretty good. He TKO'd/KO'd every single opponent he has faced off against. #1, Deji, TKO'd him round 5. Everybody went into the fight obviously backing Jake, but you know, he proved his point. Everybody hated Jake at the time. He beat Deji. Then against Joe Weller. Joe Weller, people weren't really sure if Joe would win them fight, but Joe Weller came in with swagger, came with the confidence, and Jake Paul knocked him out in the first round, I believe. And then against, you know, Anesongib, TKO'd him in the first 2 minutes of actually fighting the opponent. Like, he TKO'd/KO'd every single opponent he's fought yet. And if you don't want to count the Joe Weller scrap, then you don't need to. You literally don't need to. But he's proven that he can win. He's actually technically a good boxer. He has been trained by Sugar Shane Mosley. Sugar Shane Mosley, a true legend in boxing history. He has the ability. He has, you know, the resources to put into anything he does. Especially, I'm finna give the guy credit. He deserves the credit. As much as you hate Jake Paul, he's done a lot of stupid things, such as raiding a mall during a freaking riot, jumping on a van, setting his pool on fire. He's done a lot of stupid things. Almost ran over a pregnant woman. He's a terrible person. Well, I'm not sure about now. I can't really comment on, you know, his mindset or whatever. But as a boxer, he's genuinely actually good. And I feel like, in my opinion at least, I know I'm gonna get hit for this, he's the best YouTube boxer out of everybody on the list. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. I stretched it out to 10 minutes. I'm just gonna continue rambling for a bit. I hope you did enjoy the video. I know the last video did pretty well. Not as well as my Deji ever hit 10 million subscribers video. But I do appreciate all the support this channel's been getting. Please do like, subscribe and comment. I want to hit 200 subscribers by the end of this year, so if I could, would be very much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the 10-minute mark. Hit the 10-minute mark. See you guys in a bit. I'm gonna stop rambling in a bit. Everybody,